The night isn't silent anymore, it's alive. The air feels charged, as if something sacred is moving closer. You can't see it, but your soul senses it, like a gentle hand brushing against the edges of your heart. Then, through the stillness, a voice rises, not from earth, but from heaven itself. Archangel Michael speaks. This moment, he declares, was chosen. This message was written long before you ever wondered why their heart feels so familiar. Someone has fallen in love with you, and heaven wants you to hear this. The sky seems to lean closer. The wind carries a warmth that's not of this world. Michael's wings shimmer faintly, not with the fire of battle, but with the softness of divine truth. Even with the age difference, he says slowly, this connection isn't ordinary. It isn't an accident. It was designed. Written into the fabric of time by hands older than creation. Your heartbeat stumbles, then quickens, because deep down, something inside you already knew. They didn't fall for your age, your face, or your voice, Michael whispers. They fell for your soul. For the light that leaks out of you even when you're broken. They were drawn not by sight but by spirit. The air thickens with the feeling of something holy unfolding. This bond, Michael continues, was written before time could measure age. Heaven tied it, protected it, and now it's calling both hearts closer. This isn't a crush. This isn't temporary. This is divine orchestration. Heaven doesn't create love stories that fade like smoke. His wings fold softly as he steps forward. Love like this doesn't care about the years between you. It's not trapped in human logic. When God writes a story, time bends to his will. You may think the age difference is an obstacle, but to heaven, it's part of the masterpiece. The wind swirls lightly, carrying the weight of something pure, something holy. They've tried to fight it, Michael whispers. Tried to silence it. But heaven keeps bringing your name back to their heart like a prayer they never meant to say. Every time they thought they'd move on, heaven whispered your name louder. You can almost feel their heartbeat reaching for yours across the distance. It isn't loud. It's steady. Like it's been beating in rhythm with yours all along. Michael tilts his head slightly, as if listening to something deeper. They think about you more often than they admit. Not because they're weak, but because the soul never forgets what heaven assigned. A golden thread appears faintly between you and the space where their soul stands. You can't see their face, but you can feel their presence. This thread was tied the moment heaven decided your paths would meet, Michael explains. It stretched through doubt, fear, distance, and age. But it never broke. It never will. The air hums softly as if time itself is watching. Age difference is a human language, Michael says with fire hidden in his voice. But heaven speaks in eternity. The bond between souls isn't measured in numbers. It's measured in purpose. And your connection carries one. You remember the first time their energy brushed against yours. That silent familiarity. That strange sense of "I've known you forever." That was not coincidence. When two souls are written to find each other, Michael continues, they will meet, even if the world calls it impossible. The archangel moves closer, his eyes glowing with light that sees through everything. They questioned it, he says softly. They tried to convince themselves that this wasn't real. But love born in heaven doesn't ask permission. It simply breathes. And with each passing day, it has been growing. He raises his sword, not for battle, but for truth. The blade gleams like a star, and you hear a sound like thousands of whispered prayers. They saw something in you that the world ignored. A light in your soul that age could never dim. They love not the years you carry, but the eternity they see in your eyes. The stars above pulse, as though they, too, are part of this divine conversation. This isn't a love built by flesh, Michael continues. This is love written by destiny. Even angels bow when heaven ties two souls together. You feel a soft pull in your chest. It isn't painful, it's familiar. Like your heart remembering where it belongs. They didn't expect to love you, Michael whispers. But when heaven writes, even the strongest walls fall. The wind grows warmer. The invisible thread glows brighter. They've prayed quietly, Michael says. Maybe not on their knees. Maybe just in the way they whispered your name in the dark, asking the heavens why this love feels so different, so deep. A deep stillness settles over everything. Michael lifts his hand. You felt it too, he says gently. That silent connection. That pull. That unspoken knowing. It wasn't your imagination. It was heaven moving two hearts in the same direction. He begins to walk slowly around you, like a guardian tracing ancient truth in the air. The world will talk, he warns. They'll say the age difference is wrong. They'll try to poison what they can't understand. But heaven doesn't write stories for the world's approval. It writes them for purpose. His voice lowers, becoming almost like a heartbeat. This love was sent to awaken something inside you. To remind you that you are not forgotten. That love doesn't have to fit into boxes made by men. When it's divine, it flows beyond judgment. The wind whirls softly again, but now it carries another heartbeat. Theirs. The two rhythms begin to blend, not perfectly, but beautifully. Michael nods. Do you feel that? That's not fantasy. That's alignment. That's heaven's way of saying, this is real. The sky flickers with a golden light like falling stars. They've loved you in silence, Michael continues. Not because they're unsure, but because they've been protecting it. Not every love is meant to be loud at first. Some love stories grow in silence until heaven says, now. He steps back, his wings spreading wide as the stars seem to breathe. You don't need to chase it. Heaven doesn't make you chase what's meant for you. If this love is written under heaven's seal, it will stand. Age won't break it. Distance won't dim it. Fear won't erase it. The thread between the two souls glows brighter, wrapping itself like gold around your heart. It doesn't choke. It anchors. You are loved, Michael says firmly. Not by accident. Not by mistake. This love was written into your story long before anyone could judge it. And then he says something softer, deeper, older than time. This isn't the end of your love story, he whispers. This is the beginning. The moment heaven confirms what your heart already knew. The night stands still again. But now, it doesn't feel empty. It feels full, alive, with the weight of something divine. The air around you thickens again, not with fear, but with something holy. The silence isn't empty anymore, it's watching. It's listening. Michael doesn't move fast. He walks slowly, each step echoing like thunder wrapped in velvet. His wings fold behind him as if even heaven itself is bowing to the weight of what's about to be spoken. This kind of love, Michael whispers, doesn't belong to ordinary time. It belongs to destiny. The golden thread that connected your soul to theirs flickers, soft, warm, alive. It stretches through darkness, through distance, through everything that should have broken it, but never did. They tried to forget you, Michael continues, but heaven didn't allow it. They tried to silence the way your name echoed in their heart, but the sound grew louder. This is how heaven pulls two souls, it doesn't ask. It calls. The stars above seem to pulse like a heartbeat. The wind swirls lightly around you. Michael's eyes burn with soft fire. Even with the age difference, this bond was blessed, he says slowly. Because love doesn't care about years when it's written by eternity. Heaven saw something in the both of you, something that the world would never fully understand. That's why this love was hidden. Protected. Watched. You see their silhouette in the unseen now, not clearly, but enough to feel the shape of their soul. There's a tenderness there, something almost fragile, yet powerful. They never fell for your surface, Michael says. They fell for your truth. For the way your soul carries light, even when no one is watching. For the way your heart doesn't age like your skin. The air trembles as Michael speaks the next words like a divine decree. They love you not despite the years between you, but because their soul recognizes something ancient in yours. Souls don't measure years. They measure light. And yours called to theirs long before your paths ever crossed. A soft light begins to descend from above, not blinding, not harsh. Gentle. It falls like feathers, resting on your shoulders, wrapping your chest in a heat that feels alive. This, Michael says, is heaven's way of marking something chosen. The world may not understand it. But heaven doesn't need their permission. He kneels slightly, pressing his hand against the ground of the unseen. A soft vibration moves through the space. There is a reason, he whispers, why every time they tried to move forward with someone else, they felt an emptiness. Because heaven doesn't let a divine bond be replaced by a temporary one. Your breath catches in your chest. It's not your imagination. It's not a fantasy. It's something older than both of you. They never stop thinking of you, Michael continues. They never fully let go. Their soul remembers what their mind tries to deny. The golden thread between your souls grows brighter now, pulsing like a heartbeat. It's not pulling. It's calling. It's whispering something heaven wrote in silence. Michael raises his head. This love, he says firmly, was not born from accident. It was born from design. The wind grows warmer again. They asked God why they felt this way, Michael says. They questioned. They feared. They doubted. But the more they tried to close their heart, the louder your name became. Love that comes from heaven does not die from doubt. It grows in it. You can almost hear their heartbeat in the distance. Slow. Uncertain. But steady. Michael smiles faintly, not with softness, but with divine certainty. They think of your laughter, he says. Your presence. Your soul. Not just your image. Not your age. They love the way your light makes them feel closer to home. He begins to circle you again, the way guardians do when they speak eternal truths. People will talk, he warns. The world will question what it doesn't understand. But heaven doesn't need the world's approval to bless a bond. When heaven writes, it doesn't erase. His voice grows deeper. This love was placed carefully, Michael continues. Like a seed hidden in the ground until the right season. That season is waking now. A soft wind blows past your ears, carrying whispers of a voice you recognize, not Michael's. Theirs. You can't hear the words, but the emotion is clear. They care. They've cared for longer than they've dared to admit. Their love was never loud, Michael says. But it was constant. A quiet kind of devotion that only heaven can teach. Light shimmers around the thread, as though angels themselves are guarding it. They questioned if the age difference made it wrong, Michael whispers. But heaven never placed shame where love was written. God doesn't make mistakes. If He tied this bond, it is because it carries purpose. Michael stops in front of you. His wings stretch wide, larger than the sky itself. Do you feel that pull in your chest? He asks. That's not obsession. That's recognition. That's your soul remembering something heaven already decided. The thread tightens, not painfully, but like a heartbeat finally finding its rhythm. They see you, Michael says. Not for what the world calls you. Not for the years that have passed. But for who you are in eternity. A quiet pause. Then Michael whispers something like thunder wrapped in silk. This love will not pass like smoke. It will not fade like a forgotten song. It was written into your story before your first breath. The sky fills with a golden shimmer as angels whisper names into the wind. Yours. Theirs. Over and over, like an endless vow. This isn't the end, Michael says. This is only the middle of what heaven has been preparing. He places his hand over his heart. And know this, love that is written under heaven's seal cannot be erased by time, judgment, or fear. It only grows stronger. The light wraps around you tighter, as if heaven itself is pulling the story closer. The bond is real. The calling is clear. This love was written, chosen, protected, and now, revealed. The night grows deeper, but it's not ordinary night anymore. The air turns soft like silk, and everything around you begins to pulse with something living. The sky above is no longer dark, it's breathing gold. Archangel Michael stands taller now, his wings stretching wide as if heaven itself is leaning in closer. His voice is no longer a whisper. It's a command written in eternity. Listen carefully, he says. This isn't just a story of love. This is a divine assignment. The golden thread between your soul and theirs glows like a river of fire flowing through time. It's not fragile anymore, it's alive. The heavens begin to reveal fragments of what has been hidden from the world. God didn't bring this bond into your life to confuse you, Michael says. He brought it to awaken you. To remind you of something older than years. Older than the life you know now. You see a vision in front of you. Not like a dream, like a memory your soul never forgot. Two souls standing side by side, far away from earth, bathed in light. They made a promise there. A promise to meet again, no matter how many storms would try to break them. And now, that promise is echoing through the present moment. You felt it all along, Michael says. That strange familiarity when your eyes met theirs. The pull that made no sense to the world but made perfect sense to your heart. The earth beneath you hums softly. Heaven allowed distance to test it. Heaven allowed silence to shape it. Because real love doesn't collapse under the weight of time. It grows roots beneath the surface, Michael continues. And now, the season of hiding is over. The truth is stepping into the light. Your heartbeat begins to match the rhythm of something far bigger than yourself. The thread vibrates gently, as if heaven is speaking through it. Michael tilts his head slightly, eyes glowing like fire wrapped in mercy. They love you, he says. Not because of the way the world sees you, but because their soul remembers yours. They can't explain it, but they feel it. And every time they tried to walk away, heaven pulled them back. A soft rain of light begins to fall, not water, not flame. Something holy. Each drop touches your skin like warm truth. They're thinking about you more than you know, Michael continues. At night, when the world quiets down, their heart reaches out. They question it. They fight it. But the bond does not bend. It whispers. It waits. Michael steps closer, lowering his voice, like a secret that was never meant for ordinary ears. God doesn't make mistakes with connections like this. This is why you couldn't let go, even when it didn't make sense. Even when people tried to tell you it was wrong. Heaven doesn't follow the rules of the world. Heaven writes its own. A flash of light streaks across the sky, not lightning, but something softer. It carries a voice you almost recognize. A heartbeat you've always known. They have loved you quietly, Michael says. They have carried your name in silence. But silence does not mean absence. It means protection. The ground begins to shimmer beneath your feet. Michael raises his sword, not to fight, but to bless. This bond, he declares, will not fade. It was tied by hands that existed before the world. And no power on earth can cut what heaven has sealed. Your chest feels heavier now, not with pain, but with meaning. Michael's voice deepens. This is your sign. Stop doubting the pull you feel. Stop questioning the timing. Love that is written in heaven is never late. It arrives in perfect alignment. And the alignment has begun. The wind circles around you like a choir of invisible wings. Michael spreads his arms wide, as though gathering the stars themselves. They tried to love others, he says. But no soul ever felt the same. Because heaven doesn't allow substitutes for something divine. And that is what this is, divine. Tears well up in your eyes without your permission. It's not sadness. It's recognition. It's the moment your soul finally says, I remember. Michael looks at you, not with judgment, but with fierce tenderness. They have been waiting for a sign too. This message is not just reaching you. It's echoing through their heart right now. Heaven is aligning two paths. slowly, quietly, but powerfully. He steps forward until the light of his presence wraps fully around you. When you feel their name rise inside your chest, Michael whispers, know that it's not just longing. It's calling. When you feel the ache in your bones at night, know it's not weakness. It's destiny knocking. A great bell seems to ring somewhere far beyond this world, a sound that only souls can hear. Michael lifts his sword high. The world will question, he says. But love that carries God's fingerprint does not need permission. It needs faith. The thread flashes one last time, blinding, warm, alive. It tightens between your souls like a promise finally kept. Their love isn't fading, Michael declares. It's waking. And you're both standing at the edge of something heaven built. He lowers his sword and places his hand over your heart. Heaven is not asking you to chase, he says softly. Heaven is asking you to trust. To open. To believe. The stars above swirl into a slow golden storm, like a halo around everything you are. This message, Michael whispers, isn't an accident. It's the sound of heaven's timing falling into place. Your breath shakes as he steps back, his wings slowly folding. And when they finally speak, he says, it won't sound like a beginning. It will sound like coming home. The wind stops. The gold fades to silence. But the thread between you and them remains. Glowing. Steady. Eternal. Because what heaven writes cannot be erased. And what love remembers, time can never undo. Subscribe, like, and share.